Okay, and welcome to part 4 of the messing with Unity. Let's make a side scroller, basically where I kind of mess about and try and make some sort of side scrolling shmup sort of thing, like R-Type or one of those sort of things. In the previous one, we kind of got to the point where it was spawning a load of asteroid prefabs at a move speed of that, a lifetime of that. Now, the thing what I've got in my to-do list is create a counter system to spawn a certain number of objects per update. So if we were to say, do we want it? I'll make them public. Int. And then just call them spawn counter and spawn amount. It sort of sounds similar to each other, but yeah. Basically, we'll do a while loop, and inside the while loop, we'll do the spawn object. Then we'll do. Did I call it object? Oh, object counter, not spawn counter. Yeah, why not? And then what we'll do is we'll take the object counter and add one to it. So we're going to do it while the object counter is less than the spawn, not the spawn object, yeah, spawn amount. Right, so while it's less than the spawn amount, we're going to spawn an object and then add one to the object counter. And then once that's finished, it's finished, if you know what I mean. Now, we can change this about later, but just to actually get a finite amount of things on the screen, let's do that. So now if I go to the game manager, and say, okay, I want to spawn an amount of 20 prefabs. Now if I press play, zoom out of this. Wow, that was just 20 in one go, sort of thing. Which, yeah, bit overkill, really. So I'd say about 5 maybe. Let's give that a go. There we go. So it's got 5 at a random occurrence. Presumably a different random occurrence when we do that, yeah. See, it's kind of, there we go. So it's giving us an okay-ish sort of general thing, perhaps. Don't know. Minus 4.5 and 5 instead, I think. Let's give that another go. So these are spawned and coming along, going woomph. So yeah, we kind of get a generality of okayness. So maybe make that into 6 or 7 instead. Let's say 7. But again, this would change based upon different certain aspects of the game. But yeah, so now basing the fact that our player object is kind of fairly thin, we could get through those like so and not have to worry too much. Now bearing in mind we did I set it so that we can actually shoot? Bullet prefab, ammo 0, oh that's why. So let's set the ammo to 10, sorry, let's set the ammo to 10 before we press play. Oh, too late, kind of press play already. Let's stop that. Ammo 10. Now obviously I don't have any sort of collision type stuff here. You'd like, that's a bit fast for the bullets to be fair. Yeah. So that's still pretty cool. So we now have asteroids coming at you. We can fire bullets. We can move the player. So we technically have an asteroids game in the making so far, or some sort of general side-scrolling thing. Just gonna have a quick look at R-Type on the SNES. Okay, it's corrected me typing SNES and called it snakes. Okay, that was a bit weird. Super R-Type. Where are we? We've got a YouTube video here by somebody else. I've got it muted so we don't sort of like start with the what's it. So I'm just gonna have a quick look at this. So this is a lot of animation here. Its intro sequence is quite interesting, and then it goes to like a scrolling background. This has like things in the background. We have enemies coming for you. We've got what looks like sorts of power-ups and stuff, and special powers and collectibles. So these are all add-ons sort of thing that could be added along the way. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Lots of animations going on here as well. Okay. So I was just sort of watching a bit of a YouTube video of somebody who's playing Super R-Type on the SNES. It's very fast paced as well. Now the movement is slightly clunky, I don't know. Yeah, I was half and half for making physics-based movement. The only problem with that is if we use physics-based movement, it won't have the same sort of response as the movement is at the moment. Now some people prefer, I mean this is a bit fast actually. Yeah, that needs slowing down a little bit. But physics-based movement, I'd press it and let go and it'd still be moving a little bit, which might be really awkward for people playing, because especially if they're used to the old style R-Type sort of controls. So my 0.2 speed might want to be 0.15 perhaps. Let's give it another quick go on that. It's a little bit slower, not super slow. In fact, might get away with even slower than that. Again, no collision at the moment. I'm just sort of playing with the things. So that's fine. So we've actually implemented that, so that can disappear now. Again, this is a very basic sort of implementation. There's a lot of different things we could do here, which I may or may not implement depending on how mad they seem to be in the end. But yeah, so we have that spawnable. We have ability of it shooting and stuff. We may actually end up with some enemies and stuff as well at some point. Hoping I can kind of decide on some enemy AI and stuff like that. It's only going to be like really basic stuff, like probably move forward or move towards player in some sort of fashion, or maybe even have a finite specific way how it flies and flies off the screen sort of thing. But we'll kind of figure that out along the way. This was all I really wanted to do for this one, because I want to sit down, have a coffee and just relax a little bit. Trying to think if there's anything else I can actually add here. Should we have a little look through the script and see if we can make something interesting? We've got mover. I could perhaps... Can I do paths on this thing? Maybe waypoints? You'd have like a waypoint object. Right, this is somewhat a bit off subject I think, but just a little tester, it's nothing mad. I'm just going to create a new script. It's a bit off subject. Waypoint mover. Okay, let's save Now waypoint mover is going to inherit mover, and mover, instead of this I want to break that out into a move. What? Move along. Shut up. A move. Not move. Bloody hell. It's trying to really doesn't want me to type what I want to type. Seriously. Oh my life. Void move. Oh my life. Right, I'm not going to call it move, I'm going to call it something else. What the hell can I call it? Just going to have to call it move object. It's just been really awkward. There we go. Okay, and basically that just does the position thing. I'll probably have that as a protected. I think I can still override that without having it as a what's it class. I'll double check though. Do you do that override? Or just do override? Does that work? Right, so in mover I'll do it as a... If it's virtual, can it be something? Would work. Oh, so I just need to override keyword then. So. Okay. Does that work? Debug.log. This is the overridden method, and then move. Actually, no, I'm not going to do it there. I'll do it in the start purely because I don't want it just continually to be printing that. Okay, so now waypoint mover has nothing to do with waypoints just yet. I'm just kind of getting it so I can override the move object method. So now I want something to plonk it on. So I'll literally just create a cube. Move it over here or something. Move it up here. And grab my waypoint mover and pop it on the cube. Give it a move speed of 2 and a lifetime of 5. And press play. And it's not moving. Oh, of course it's not moving. I've overridden the thing, so does that mean it worked? Yes. The overridden method. Now I can call, I think, super on this. Hopefully. No. How do we call the the parent. How do we call like super? How to call super in C sharp? Calling base method class. Blah blah blah. Virtual void something something blah blah something. Oh right, okay. So we literally just give it the class name. Mover. Move object. Does that work? Hmm? Okay, according to that. Alias mover. What are you talking about, alias mover? Oh, sorry, no, it's a dot, not a. Sorry, I'm just trying to do C++ stuff. Okay, that's okay. It's can access protected member via qualified type mover. The qualifier must be a type waypoint mover or derived from it. I'm gonna have to make this public then. Just gonna make it public for the moment and see if that actually does make a difference. Oh, seriously? Oh right, no, somebody's keyword base. I'm looking at a Stack Overflow thing, and this was actually part of the question, not the answer. So it's literally just base dot move object. So now I need to fix this. Override protected, so I'll change that back to protected now. So this is why I don't always like using Stack Overflow. They're not very clear on what's a correct answer and what's not sometimes. Right, so that is there. Let's save that and save this and make sure it still works. So now theoretically this should still move forward. The only difference is it's saying that this is an overridden method, and the fact that I'm running move object there. Oh, I'm gonna have to put this in the update anyway. Put it on the map. It's okay. It'll just print it a lot instead of once. Although we've already proven that that was the overridden method anyway, so that's one of those. So let's just press play and watch it go psycho. Okay, yeah, it's printing every single time it does the overridden method. That's moving forward. That's pretty cool. Okay, so now we know that we can override these things. I don't particularly want it to call the base one in this instance. So that's the bare bones starter. So I'd like to make some waypoints. I think we'll do it that way. Yeah, and then public as well, so I can edit those. And then the mover is actually doing it this way. There's got to be like a move to position or something like that. This may require some other components to be added to the item. I'm just going to literally look up move to position. It might require like a smoothing sort of thing to go to it, or something like that. Move to position smoothly in Unity. Smooth damp, would it be that perhaps? transform point, new vector, transform position, vector smooth damp, transform position to target position, velocity, and smooth time. Okay, we have an example or some stuff on the documentation now. This might be useful. So we want wherever our target is. We want a smoothing time and velocity of 0, right? Bit weird. Reference velocity. Why do it have a reference velocity and not? I'm wondering if that might work. So technically it goes from the current position to the target position, then the target position will change to each waypoint along the way. I think. I'm just spitballing here, this is just like completely off the cuff, just general idea to make some sort of waypoint mover, in which case we can set different places so it goes sort of smoothly to them, for some sort of AI perhaps. Okay, I'll work on that a bit later because we've already been like 21 minutes and a lot of it's been me kind of figuring something out. Let's save that for a second and go over here. I want to click again on my cube and let's have a look. Our waypoints. Let's say we have 3 waypoints. Now let's just make one waypoint first, just to kind of go there. Let's move to here and here. So -217. And 4.83 or -2.17, sorry. Okay, so it's going from current position, which is wherever I put it. Go over here somewhere, I don't know, just doesn't really matter too much. So if I say I want to go to the waypoints, so I need to know the size of the waypoints. Don't know whether that's size or what's it. Let's just say move object. So I might need a few other things like vector. I don't actually need to make that into it. Let's just try this. Yeah, vector 3 current or last position. Stop with that. Last position. This or previous position. Previous position. Previous position. I'm just literally making all this up as I go along, by the way. So let's get that example thing. I'm gonna do that back up. So let's literally copy this for a second. Let's copy those. And we'll pop them here. Then I'm going to grab this thing, saying the target position and all that. Copy this in the move thingy. Target position equals target transform point new vector blah blah blah. No. Oh, why has it got transform target? I don't want that. Well, I don't know, I might use that at some point, but I'm not going to right now. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to get rid of that for a second. Target position is going to be equal to waypoints of 0 for the moment. This is hard coding, you shouldn't do it this way by the way, I'm just kind of trying to see if I can make it do this. Transform position then equals smooth damping from transform position to reference velocity to smooth time. Let's see what happens. I'm a bit confused over the whole velocity thing though, because I don't know why that would be 0. Although it's nice private, so I don't know. Sounds a bit weird. Let's just do it and see what it says. Well, it did it. That was a nice sort of smooth action. That was pretty cool. Zoom to the waypoint. Okay, so theoretically I could do like a some sort of a waypoint system where it does that, and then once it gets there it updates to the next waypoint, so literally a loop of some sort. I quite like that. I think we have the startings of the makings of a waypoint system. It's not very complicated, it's just something different, isn't it? Okay, I'll leave it at that because the velocity of 0 is quite interesting. I think the smooth time is how it speeds itself up and slows down and stuff, you know. Okay, that's pretty cool. I'll keep that as it is. There's quite a few to-dos here. To do, create some sort of loop to allow multiple waypoints. I'm undecided on like how I'm going to exactly implement that. It might be just a simple for loop with the amount of waypoints and then go through them, but I don't know whether I want timers between and things like that. But I'll look at that in the next one, because we've got like 27 minutes into this one so far, so you know. I was only planning on sort of doing 10-minute ones and maybe a half-hour max, so we're kind of reaching the sort of max area of time for this. So basically this will be looked at more in part 5. Thanks a lot for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one.